Kelly Hyman, that's a whole nother can of worms. When I was negotiating felony pleas and or trying felonies, let's just say a young man comes in with 5 hits of crack. All right. I could go with intent to distribute on that. 5 hits. Was he going to do all that himself? That's one thing. But if he has a gun, that is a whole nother animal. Because when you have a gun, that means you're up to hurting somebody else. So it's not just that he was calling 911 and misusing 911. It's not just he went into somebody's house and stole something. He had a weapon on more than one occasion. And that kicks it up several notches. And who in the hay let this guy walk after brandishing weapons? And they keep referring to a robbery. It was not a robbery. He had a weapon when he committed that robbery. That's been pled down, as we say. A robbery is a lot lighter sentence than an armed robbery. An armed robbery, even if it's a fake toy gun, a fake rubber knife, much less a real knife or a real gun, you start at a minimum of 5 years hard jail time. Minimum. So if you can get your prosecutor to come off armed and say, look, sentence me to 10 years on robbery, not 5 on armed, because on robbery, you'll walk in about a year, 2 years max. On armed robbery, you have a minimum of 5. So somebody pled that down and let him plead to robbery versus armed robbery. But I mean, brandishing a weapon, he should have been behind bars.
The punishment should fit the crime, Nancy. And you bring up a really good point about talking about the fact that there was a gun involved and how that heightens the crime as well. And we think about if, in fact, he was behind bars, that this wouldn't happen. This young, beautiful woman would not have lost her life, that there needs to be some type of change, that hopefully this can shed light on the fact that such a young woman, so beautiful with so much hope, lost her life. And she did that. And hopefully there'll be some type of justice for her family.
Kelly Hyman, judges, not all of them, but so many of them don't care. Get off the bench. If you don't care, get the HELL out of the courthouse. I've had judges that just want to clear the calendar. They want to clear the calendar. I had a judge, an amazing judge, Judge Luther Alverson, and he was hell-bent that we would have the lowest jail count of anybody in the courthouse. Why? Because he was so old that he could have been forced into mandatory retirement, but he was already on the bench when mandatory retirement was enacted. He wanted the jail count low. What's the jail count? That's how many people are sitting in jail waiting for you, the judge, to adjudicate their case. And if you've got a huge jail count, that must mean you're not doing your job. But he would never take a plea unless it was the right thing to do, to hay with the jail count. In fact, none of my pleas, don't worry about that. But I've seen him take a plea from a prosecutor and go, the bench, i.e. me, the bench rejects the plea agreement. I advise both counsel to continue plea negotiations or we will strike a jury. Yeah, he didn't have a problem doing that if the plea was too low or out of place or inappropriate. Yeah. What did that mean for me? That meant I had to go on trial calendar every other week to keep the jail count low and to get an appropriate sentence at trial. Okay? These judges don't give a flying fig. What the hey? Let this guy walk free? Say, well, we're going to get him evaluated, but you let him walk free. You're so concerned about his mental state that you want a forensic mental evaluation, but you let him walk free to murder arena? Oh yeah, they need to be thrown off the bench, Kelly.
Well, Nancy, that will ultimately be up to the people who vote for him, because in some states they can vote for who they want as their judge, but then also the governor can appoint the state judges as well. So it's going to be different depending on the state. But yes, and that's their ultimate decision of whether or not, that they want someone on the bench to serve the people, because the judge ultimately is the decider of the fact. And sadly, in this case, this gentleman was not in jail or being mentally evaluated, and he committed this heinous crime of this beautiful young girl.
What do you have to do to get a judge off the bench? What, put a stick of dynamite under their rear end to say it's over? You're going to have to go get a regular job like everybody else?